What do you need to know before watching Secret Invasion? Well, it has been 30 years since the events of Captain Marvel took place, where we had Nick Fury alongside Vers, who is Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel. In 1995, Vers was on a mission to save a covert operative, but she encounters the Skrull, a shape-shifting alien. Vers is captured by Talos, the Skrull commander, but she escapes and crash lands in Los Angeles where she met Nick Fury. She destroyed a light-speed engine that Mar-Vell, a Kree scientist, created, and she absorbed its powers and now is arguably one of the most powerful MCU heroes. Talos reveals to Vers that the Skrull are refugees trying to find a new home, and she promises to help them find it. She leaves Fury with a pager so he can contact her in the future. Secret Invasion takes place in the year 2025, 5 years after Thanos snapped half of the population away. The Skrulls seem to have been waiting forever for help from Captain Marvel, but it still hasn't happened, so they've taken matters into their own hands and they found refuge on Earth. In this video, I'll be breaking down Secret Invasion. If you enjoyed the content, be sure to like and subscribe to see more videos like this, but let's get right into it. Episode 1 opens in Moscow, where Agent Prescott was explaining a theory to Agent Ross about the random terror attacks around the world being carried out by the same group, Skrulls. Ross didn't believe him, but Prescott was actually correct, and Ross killed him for getting too close to the truth. After a wild foot chase through the streets of Moscow, it was revealed that Ross was in fact a Skrull. Now, we could ask if he has been a Skrull from the beginning, or has he been kidnapped recently and was replaced? Talos is back, and he is the one that killed Skrull Ross. We are also introduced to Maria Hill in this scene. We are also introduced to Nick Fury, who has been away from Earth for some time since his return from his disappearance, as he spent most of his time on the Saber space station. Fury meets Talos and they reconnect. Talos informs Fury that his daughter is missing. We find out that Fury has gone back on his promise to help the Skrulls find a permanent home, so Gravik and his Skrull army decided to take Earth over the years. Fury, Hill, and Talos get together to discuss Gravik's plan. Before his death, Prescott discovered the AAR, Americans Against Russia, which was a front for the bad Skrulls. They found out that they were planning a bombing in Russia to spark a war between America and Russia. We were also introduced to Sonya Falsworth, an MI6 agent and an old friend of Fury. She had him kidnapped and they reconnected, but Fury can't trust her yet, so he bugs her office. Another big introduction is to Gaia, welcoming a Skrull named Beto to New Skrullos, the rebels' temporary home. She mentioned that if you stay here, you can only leave if you become a warrior, and the longer you are disguised as a human, the easier it becomes to maintain the appearance. Gaia is on a mission, but it was intercepted by Talos and Hill, and it was revealed that Gaia is Talos' missing daughter. Unaware that her mother had died, Talos hints that the Skrulls she works for had something to do with it. She had information about the next attack, but didn't give it to her dad. Fury meets with Hill and he explains the reason why he is being cooped up in space. He's basically having PTSD from being snapped away. But really, he just hasn't been himself since coming back from the snap. Gaia disguises herself and decides to tell Talos about the attack that Gravik has planned. There were 3 bombings in the city square. She told him to look out for marked bags as the bombs will be in them. Fury, Hill, and Talos couldn't stop the attack from happening because the bomb bags were decoys, but Fury did manage to cross paths with Gravik. Unfortunately, in the large crowd, Gravik transformed into Fury and shot and killed Maria. The real Fury got to her, but it was too late. She was gone. We see a shortened version of how Fury meets with the Skrulls, and he makes the promise to help them find their home. Fast forward a couple years to 1997, Fury meets with young Gravik, and we find out that Gravik's parents were killed by the Kree. This could have been the start to his villain arc.
This is the promise. While you work to keep my home safe, Carol Danvers and I will find you a new one.
Talos speaks with the Skrulls, assuring them that Fury is trustworthy, and in exchange for helping them find a home, the Skrulls would work for Fury as spies for him. In the present day, on a train from Moscow to Warsaw, Russian soldiers are looking for Nick Fury. A woman tells the soldiers that she hasn't seen him, and then she turns into Talos, with Fury coming out of hiding. Fury questions Talos about the destruction of Skrullos, the Skrulls' old home, and Talos reveals that all 1 million Skrull that survived were on Earth. Talos wants Fury's help to help Skrulls coexist with humans, but that seems near impossible in Fury's eyes. News stories around the world show the bombing aftermath in Russia, with Russia ready to go to war, but America insisting that they had nothing to do with it. Gravik joins a meeting with the Skrull Council, showing that many leaders of large countries are part of it. The leader of the Skrull Council, Shirley, wants to punish Gravik, but Gravik makes his point clear that Fury did not keep his promise to them, so he wants to take Earth. Everyone in the council agrees with Gravik, but Shirley disagrees, but Gravik still let her go. Talos asks Shirley to set up a meeting with Gravik to talk about Gaia. At New Skrullos, everyone is celebrating Gravik, and Gaia sees Gravik talking to Pagon. She follows Pagon, which led to some scientists testing DNA samples to make some sort of machine. Gravik is looking for something called the Harvest to succeed in their current task. Sounds like they're planning to take over the Earth with the Harvest. At an emergency security summit, James Rhodes attends as the United States representative. Concerns over Fury being spotted in Moscow were shut down by Rhodes as he was aware of the allegations. Fury meets with Rhodes and admits he was in Moscow to help stop the attack. Fury informs him of the threat of the Skrulls, so Rhodes suggested bringing in the Avengers. But Fury insists that it would be too dangerous because if the Skrulls could shapeshift into an Avenger, then they could possess their powers and would take Earth with ease. Fury then goes to say that he wants to fight in this alone and wants Rhodey's support, but he declines. He also fires Fury, and as he is leaving, Fury is back and says,
"Well, you're out. I'm Nick Fury. Even when I'm out, I'm in."
Sonya Falsworth is back and she is torturing and interrogating a Skrull terrorist, Brogan. Gaia is trying to find out information about the DNA samples, but Gravik interrupts her and he admits that he had concerns about her at the beginning. They then set off to find Brogan. They find Brogan. He tells Gravik that he didn't say anything to anyone, but later, Pagon kills Brogan. Fury picks up a car from a storage facility. He drives to the countryside to a house in which he enters. Inside, we see a Skrull, who turns out to be Fury's wife, but is she a double agent? Gravik reveals his plan to attack the United Nations. He's creating a machine that has the power to turn Skrulls into Super Skrulls. We find out the meaning of Super Skrull later. In a flashback, we see how Fury met his wife Priscilla, also known as Vara. In the present day, we find out that Fury has been away from his wife since the blip. He begins to have suspicions of her working with Gravik. At New Skrullos, Gravik gets suspicious of Gaia. She makes up some excuses and Gravik lets it go, for now. Talos meets with Gravik about Gaia, some threats are made, and suddenly, everyone around them transform into Gravik, as Gravik shows Talos that he has all the manpower he needs for the upcoming war. Gaia disguises herself as an old man and passes on the message to Talos about the attack Gravik has planned on the United Nations. But to stop the attack, Fury and Talos head to Bob's house, who controls the submarine that will attack the United Nations plane. After a bit of action, they try to make Bob stop the attack, but he refuses. Talos kills him and Bob turns out to be a Skrull, of course. Talos asks Gaia for help to stop the attack, which she does, but that all turned out to be a setup by Gravik to find out who the mole was within the Skrulls. As Gaia is on the run from New Skrullos, Gravik stops her and kills her without hesitation. Priscilla gets a call from someone, which confirmed that she was working for Gravik this whole time. In episode 4, it is revealed that Gaia is in fact alive. Before she left New Skrullos, she consumed the Super Skrull treatment that gave her special abilities, such as healing powers. Priscilla meets Rhodey in a church, confirming Rhodey is a Skrull. He demands that she kills Fury, and Fury overheard the whole conversation. Talos speaks with Gaia about his plan to find a new place for the Skrulls, but Gaia thinks he's delusional. Back at Fury's house, Fury sits with Priscilla at a table and confronts her. They both pull guns out and shoot, but purposely miss each other. They still love each other and hope that it can work out between them, but Fury ends up leaving. Fury then goes to confront Rhodey, but he was one step ahead as he had a video showing Gravik disguised as Fury killing Maria Hill. Fury and Talos follow Rhodey to an airstrip, who is with the US president. Gravik and his army are there also, and they are trying to kill the president. This is part of Gravik's plan where he kills the president and blames it on the Russians so a war between the humans can kick off. Gravik also has Super Skrull abilities, and he uses them in this battle. Unfortunately, during the battle, the president is badly injured, but Fury rescues him. During all this, Gravik kills Talos in front of Fury. Pagon speaks up to Gravik in front of the Skrulls at New Skrullos, but Gravik did not like that, so he killed him. Gravik then calls Rhodey as he is on his way to the hospital and tells him to keep the president alive and inform him that the Russians and the Skrulls were behind the attack, provoking a war. Rhodey meets with Fury at the hospital, and Rhodey told Fury that the video of him killing Maria Hill was leaked to the press already, making him the most wanted man on this planet. The Skrulls at New Skrullos were not happy that Gravik killed Paron, and they all attacked Gravik, but because Gravik has his new powers, he was unbeatable. Gaia meets with Fury as they talk about Talos and Gravik's plan. Gravik is looking for something called the Harvest, and after hearing this, Fury heads to Finland and tells Gaia to meet Priscilla at their house. Sonya Falsworth is on the hunt for Skrulls as she captures a couple and kills one of them that didn't want to give up Gravik's plan. At the hospital, Rhodey meets with the president and convinces him to call an attack on New Skrullos, which could kill all of the real people that the Skrulls have taken over, but the president is hesitant. An army of Gravik's Skrulls attack Priscilla and Gaia, but they manage to survive. When Sonya and Fury meet, he revealed to her that, for us fans, during Avengers Endgame, almost every Avenger spilt blood, and a sample of that was collected for each of them on Fury's order by a team led by Gravik. This could be where Gravik thought of the plan to create Super Skrulls. Fury hid the Harvest in Finland, which is why he went there. The Harvest contains the DNA of all the heroes and villains in the MCU, and if used by Gravik to create the Super Skrulls, they could be the most powerful characters in the MCU. The final episode shows a decoy car approaching New Skrullos as Fury walks into the Skrull compound, which is deserted. He looks weak as the radiation is too strong for him, but he makes his way to the reactor room where Gravik is waiting for him by the machine. Meanwhile, at the hospital, Sonya alerts Rhodey that Fury is at the hospital and is attacking them. Rhodey's men are all killed as he tries to take the president out the hospital. At the compound, Gravik reveals how he found his host's body, revealing that it was his first kill, ordered by Fury. Fury was sorry for stringing the Skrulls all along these years when he knew that it would be impossible for them to find a new home. Fury hands over the Harvest as he is slowly dying due to the radiation, and Gravik activates the machine whilst Fury is inside it. Once the machine powers down, Gravik attacks Fury, but Fury attacks back and his arm changes into Hulk's arm. It turns out that Gaia was disguised as Fury the whole time and she is now a Super Skrull. They both battle it out with their new powers, which include Captain Marvel, the Avengers, Thanos, and many more. Meanwhile, the real Fury is at the hospital and is face to face with the President and Rhodey. He explained what happened to many of the major world officials. Fury eventually shoots Rhodey and he turns into his true self. The President quickly calls off the attack. Gaia and Gravik are still fighting, but Gaia seemed more eager as Gravik had killed her family. She eventually kills Gravik. Gaia frees all the real people that the Skrulls had taken over, including the real Rhodey, who, by the looks of it, has been missing since Captain America Civil War. Later, the President announces to the world that the Skrulls will all be hunted down and killed, and even civilians are going around killing real human world leaders, thinking that they are Skrulls. The President tells Fury to get the Skrulls off this planet or they will all die. Gaia is then approached by Sonya, who offers to help each other to make humans and Skrulls safe on Earth. Fury decides to leave Earth, and as he leaves, Priscilla turns up and goes with him in her own Skrull skin. The story of Secret Invasion will continue in the upcoming film Armor Wars, and Nick Fury will return in the Marvels. Thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next one.